Welcome to the free-to-play farmable guide to the Ellunia Rune Dungeon. Now let's talk about why you should be farming this thing. If you have your dimension hole energy at its maximum, that's a problem. You gotta spend that stuff. Because it'll get you those glowing ancient runes. Now ancient runes have potentially higher base values in the substats, and that means a potentially higher maximum. And I'll do just about anything to get those. And hopefully you're willing to do just about anything, because just like every other dungeon within the dimension hole, this one has its very own gimmick in order to even enter in the first place. Before you come in, your entire team has to be of the same element. And in my experience, wind is the easiest one to do that with. Also, you were voted the most likely in high school to have all these units built already, with potentially one exception. I would go over what the boss does in more detail, but to be honest, if we rune this team properly, it shouldn't matter. Face is the place. Let's talk about the monsters in turn order. Starting us off, it's Riley the Wind Totemist. Riley wants to be runed fast and on-violent. There are two primary stats to look out for, HP and speed. You want Riley to be tanky enough to survive any hits and opposition that come your way, and you want her to be fast enough so that she can keep taking turns and healing your team. Odds are you've already got Riley built this way, but speed, HP is the best. It's important that she move first because we really want her to apply attack buff for our damage dealers. More on those later. Next, Second Awaken Roid. You might recognize Roid for being one of the very first monsters that you get in the game, but he looked way worse when you got him. Now he's got abs, which is crazy. Good for Roid. This dude's purpose is being our only source of defense break. Roid's Second Awaken is really cool because he's got two passives, but we're bringing him for the effect on his first skill, and his first skill predominantly only. He applies defense break. He can also attack additionally to apply attack break. He can provoke, he can reduce attack bar. The dude's the whole package, but we really want him to land the defense break. And if he can proc when he misses and try again, then that's the best thing ever. So let's put him on violent. Speed, HP, and whatever. Honestly, slot 6 doesn't matter. You can put him on slot 6 HP percentage, accuracy percentage, or attack percentage. And now it for the back, so this what you're seeing right here, he's runed on attack slot 6. Does he need to be? Probably not, but he is. The other thing is that even though his primary stats are probably going to be HP and speed, because you really need him to move at this point in the turn order, you don't necessarily want to skimp on the accuracy. My Roid, I think, has about 30% accuracy, and I'm rounding down. Do as I say, not as I do. Oh, I also have a little bit more skill 1 accuracy in the substats of my artifacts, and you should too. After Roid, it's the first of your two primary damage dealers. It's... oh god, what is her name? Oh my god, this is crazy. I summoned her for this video. I built her, I 6-starred her, I skilled her up. What is her name? I went in and I re-runed her.
What's his name? What's his name? Come on, baby, what's the name? We threw out his name!
Next, it's your first primary damage dealer, Yen the Wind Rakshasa. For Yen, you can acquire her through the Hall of Heroes or as pieces in the Guild Magic Shop. So over time, you should just be able to accumulate a Yen. And that's actually how I got her for this video. Yen is kind of like a second set of violent runes, and like we add more violent sets as she doesn't take an extra turn. She has an extra 20% chance just baked into her passive to get an extra turn. And that value goes up the longer she goes without getting that turn. We want Yen to do a ton of damage. So we're gonna put her on attack, crit damage, attack, and on a violent set. Look for crit rate, crit damage, and attack. What's really cool about Yen is that she does even more turn-taking shenanigans thanks to her skill 2 that has attack bar absorption. So hopefully Yen's gonna be going and going and going, and also applying a few dots along the way too. By the end of her turn, hopefully the boss is gonna have like 3 or 4 debuffs, including defense break. And that is the perfect segue into our next damage dealer, Naomi, the Second Awakened Wind Martial Cat. Naomi's sick. You know, I don't know if we need to spend too much time on this. We all know why Naomi rocks. She has a passive that makes her auto crit as long as there's a debuff present on the target. So that means you can rune her on Rage, full crit damage and like 0 crit rate. Attack, crit damage, attack is the way to go. But the reason why she's at this point in the turn order is because she has another clause in her passive. She actually scales damage based on the number of debuffs that are present on the target. So after Roid's gone and Yen has gone, the boss should have a few debuffs on him, and then Naomi's there to just clean it up. If you rune your monsters like this and you look for beneficial substats in the artifacts like increased crit damage on your monsters that are trying to do damage, increased recovery on Riley, etc., you should have an easy enough time going face and dealing a ton of damage to the boss and just knocking him out. But I'd be remiss not to mention the fact that you could totally do this dungeon with a few key win nat 5s. Like if you take everybody except Riley out and you use Dominic, Feng Yan, and Savannah instead, you can clear this dungeon pretty easily. So like if you've summoned some cool win nat 5s along your journey through Summoner's War, try splashing them in or maybe building a team with them first before trying this free-to-play starter version. But I will say, this thing pumps out some pretty serious damage. Like I love watching Naomi 1 or 2 shot the boss. It's so satisfying. And there are times where like Yen will take 4 to 5 turns in a row, and that's just magical. It's almost like super toxic. Like if I could emote the boss, I would. Like I'm trying to make the boss uninstall. That's how mad I want to make the boss, and that's what Yen feels like. So there you go, that's the team. If you have a particular team that works great for you in Ellunia, leave it in a comment down below. Thanks for watching, guys. See y'all next time. Bye-bye.